Fred VanVleet got a vote from your friend Hubie Brown.
And I love Hubie.
You're going to disrespect the legend.
I'm not going to disrespect the legend.
Listen, there's only one player who in a non-lockout year has played fewer than 70 and won the MVP. That was Bill Walton 40 seasons ago. And his team had the best record, and Walton was clearly the best player, and he still barely won it. Kawhi's not even going to play 65 games. Of course he's not an MVP candidate, because not only is he not playing, he's playing very well this year, but his percentages are down. He has not been great since Halloween, last night notwithstanding, where he was their best player.
Only place I disagree with you is that I think if he were playing every game, or, a regular schedule like most players, I think he'd be in the race. I don't think he'd be ahead of Giannis, Luka, and maybe LeBron, but he'd be in the hunt. But, you're missing 22 games once every 4 games or whatever it is. No, you can't be the MVP. And for his history, because people are saying, well, Bill Walton did it, like you said, 58 games. There was some strange voting in the 70s. I mean, you had guys win, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bob McAdoo, win the MVP award with losing records. Their team had losing records. That hasn't happened in the modern era of the NBA since the 80s. And so, no, there's no way, as good as he is, that Kawhi's in the MVP conversation.
The Lakers were in Orlando last night, and LeBron James put the team on his back. The King finishing with 25 points, 11 boards, 10 assists for his 6th triple-double of the season. Lakers won at 96-87. They improved to an NBA best 22-3 on the season. Nick, is LeBron proving he's still the best player in the NBA?
He is, but right now it's a legitimate two-man race. Yeah, the case for LeBron, you could make an equally strong case, near equally strong case for Giannis. If KD were healthy, you could argue it'd be a 3-man race. And if Harden wins a title, then it becomes a 4-man race, right? Like, because
that's a big if.
I understand, but Harden, I think some people would say, why is Harden never included in this? Because we just discount it because of the postseason, lack of postseason success. Right now, it's LeBron and Giannis have set themselves apart from everyone else with respect to Luka. I still think it's LeBron. Teams have the same record. I understand the argument for Giannis, but I think it's LeBron.
If you brought in the postseason, which you did with Harden, then I would throw Kawhi in the discussion. Because, look, if he plays 60 games, we know he's not going to be MVP, not going to be first-team All-NBA. But if he has a run through the playoffs, they beat the Lakers,
sure,
maybe they win the finals, then he's now certainly in the discussion, if not at the top. But I agree, it's Giannis and LeBron right now. And I give LeBron the edge because head-to-head, he outplayed Giannis, even though they didn't really guard each other. He had a much better game against Giannis. Giannis even maybe was a bit tentative.
You're talking about last year.
Last year.
They haven't played yet.
Yeah, exactly, last year. And in the playoffs last year, Giannis struggled against Toronto. We haven't seen LeBron really struggle like that in a series, since Dallas back in 2011. So with those two factors, until Giannis gets it done in the playoffs, like LeBron has, I still, right now at least, will give LeBron the edge.
The Rockets were in Cleveland last night to play the Cavs. How about James Harden? Just another ho-hum monster night, 55 points, including 20 in the fourth quarter. Harden went 10 of 18 from deep, only needed 5 free throws to drop the double nickel. Rockets hold off the Cavs for the 116-110 win. Nick, is James Harden the best scorer since Wilt?
No, he's second best scorer since Wilt. Wilt, Jordan, Harden. And I think Harden has now passed Elgin, Rick Barry, who gets forgotten in this, and Kobe, the KD. And the Kobe one, I think, is important because Kobe had a year where scoring was the only thing that he was worried about. It was because they couldn't win the title that year. It was the second year without Shaq, and he averaged the 81-point game year, the 62 3/4, and he averaged 35.5. Harden averaged more than that last year and is going to average more than that this year. This year he might average 40. But I think Harden's done something maybe more notable than become the best scorer since Wilt. I think James Harden this year has right now, and it's a list he doesn't want to be at the top of, but I think he's now at the top of it. I believe James Harden is the best player in NBA history to not have a ring.
Wow.
I think he has, he's surpassed Iverson, he's surpassed CP3, obviously, Patrick Ewing, Elgin, who I love, and I think Elgin is one of the most underrated guys ever, and he's even surpassed our mutual friend Charles Barkley and Karl Malone. I think James Harden is the best player in the history of the NBA without a title. He would like to instead become just the 14th best or 17th best player with the title. I'm sure at some point that's where he wishes to be, but that's what I think. And I know you and I can parse on the scoring thing. I knew you'd probably be taken aback by the best player without a ring.
I'm still
But I don't, I mean, he's led the league in assists. He's led the league in scoring. He's won the MVP. He's finished second 3 separate times. Tough to find a better resume of the guys without a ring than the one James Harden has.
He's a phenomenal player. There's no doubt about it. I actually voted for him to win another MVP award the first year Steph Curry won it. I would argue maybe Barkley over Harden. Barkley, arguably inch for inch. That's not a term many people use, but inch for inch, the greatest player we've ever seen. I mean, 6'4", really, as a power forward, was a terrific rebounder. Got his team to the finals. Harden hadn't even done that. I mean,
he's been in the finals, but it wasn't his
coming off the bench with Durant and Westbrook. So Barkley at least got a team to the finals and gave Michael Jordan, a lot of trouble in that series. I might also put Malone over him. Obviously, Malone's third all-time scoring?
Second all-time scoring, and he has 2 MVPs to Harden's 1.
Right.
Malone's longevity and durability. We'd never seen a player as durable as Malone until LeBron. To me, Barkley and Malone are the 2 best players without a ring, and Elgin gets forgotten. He's third. But I think Harden over the last couple of years surpassed him. And here's the thing about taking a team to the finals. Would Barkley have taken a team to the finals if Jordan and the Bulls were in his conference? The answer is no. Look, Harden took his team to what was the de facto NBA Finals, the Western Conference Finals, against KD and Steph and the Warriors, and they were up 3-2 until the second best player got hurt. They were up 15 in Game 7 of that. Does that make sense? Like that, to me, that was the NBA Finals.
But Barkley did have to, I don't remember if they played at this point, but Olajuwon, David Robinson, those guys were in the West. Karl Malone and John Stockton.
It was brutal.
The West was tough. But to your point, looking at circumstances, I think there are other players you could put in Mike D'Antoni's system that Harden's green light is unbelievable. If you put Steph Curry in that system,
he couldn't hold up.
You don't think?
No.
I don't know that Harden holds up because he doesn't get it done in the playoffs.
Well, so last year, it should be noted, last year, James Harden averaged more points, assists, higher field goal percentage in the playoffs in his 6 games against the Warriors than Kawhi did in his 6 games against the Warriors, against a tougher Warriors team that was much healthier. And Kawhi's team won. He's finals MVP, and it's considered an amazing performance. Harden's team loses, even though Harden, we could put him side by side.
His numbers were great.
Were great. So I don't think it's fair to say there's one playoff series where I feel like he got concussed in it. A few years ago, the one against San Antonio, where
he had other struggles against Golden State
early.
He
had the 10 turnovers in a closeout game. I get it, but he plays. The thing about Steph is Harden plays every night. Plays super high minutes, has to do all of it. If other guys could do it, they would.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't, because this isn't proven to win. And you play to win the game, to quote the great Herm Edwards. And that's why, even though Kawhi's numbers aren't as big as Harden's were against the Warriors, Kawhi gets the love because they won. I just think, and I don't want to take anything away from Harden, because he is historically great. But if Kevin Durant shot as much as James Harden, he could do this. If Kobe Bryant even.
Kobe did. Hold on. Kobe did.
James Harden has shot 40. I know they can throw out effective field goal percentage because he's a good free throw shooter. He gets to the line and the 3-pointers. He's shooting 34% from 3. He's shooting 14 threes a game.
Yeah.
How many guys couldn't shoot 14 threes a game and put up
again? So I would just public service announcement.
And he shot 44% the last 6 years.
If other guys could do it, you should do it, because it's a route to $500 million in career earnings, an MVP, and a bunch of runners up. Like, other guys would want those things. Real quick on Steph. So you think Steph, when he comes back, because his team's going to need it, or Steph, if he hadn't broke his hand.
No, he won't do it.
Steph, if he hadn't broke his hand, could do this.
If you put him in Mike D'Antoni's system, Just like we saw Steve Nash. Steve Nash would not, with all due respect, would not be a Hall of Famer if he wasn't in Mike D'Antoni's system. Harden would not be averaging these outlandish numbers were it not for Mike D'Antoni's system. If you put Russ in, give him the ball and take Harden off the team, I'm not saying he'd average 39, but he would put up some astronomical numbers as well. And let me ask you this, Nick. Are you one that says LeBron could average a triple-double for a season?